I think of myself very much as agender. I also use non-binary mostly.
I guess the best word that I've like used kind of since I started questioning my gender identity was non-binary. I'm Eva, they, them. I do cross country and track.
My name is Alex. My pronouns are they, them. Fun fact about me is I've lived in like 5 states. So that's pretty cool. It has brought me a lot of strange experiences.
What words do you use to describe your gender identity?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best word that I've like used kind of since I started questioning my gender identity was non-binary, because I was like, yay, like umbrella, like yeah. I can fall under any of this. And I mean, obviously that also then falls under the trans umbrella, which I personally am really a fan of the word trans, because I just like, I don't know, it's just nice. I like it a lot. I also really like the word gender non-conforming, just because like as somebody who like kind of had a hard time, especially in high school, with like conforming to general social roles, it's kind of nice to have that word of like, I'm a nonconformist, yada yada. So
yeah, and I think the term gender nonconforming also takes, like, especially when you're questioning, it takes some of the pressure off of you to like immediately identify as transgender. You can be like, oh, I am simply not conforming to this thing. I don't have to, like, at least for me, it like kind of took some of the like, I need to immediately like figure everything out. It just for me, that made things easier. I definitely agree with gender nonconforming being a good word or a good term. I also when I think about it, like technically, like technical terms, I think of myself very much as agender. Like I think of myself very much in the middle, like in the center, in between male and female. Like when I came out to my parents, I was like, yeah, I just don't feel like one or the other. And that's kind of all I had. I also use non-binary mostly, because for like the same reasons. I just think it's like it's nice to have the umbrella term. It kind of is all encompassing. Doesn't immediately imply like fully like trans. It can just like imply gender non-conforming, which is also nice. So it's also, to me at least, a little bit less of a high pressure term.
Yeah, I feel like so much of what both of you are getting at is that like the importance of leaving space for questioning in the LGBTQ plus community. You know, I think that often we say LGBTQ plus standing for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and you know, the plus referring to all sorts of other identities. But I learned it first as queer or questioning, and I really like that emphasis on that. Like, you don't need to have sorted it out. Like, you don't need to have an exact label for your gender identity. Do you guys think of non-binary as more of a gender identity or more of a political view?
Ooh, that feels like a loaded question there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I definitely see it more as a gender identity. I've never like, I mean, that's not true. I've seen it used as like a political identity or whatever, but like I don't enjoy that. I don't like that. It feels very much it kind of makes it feel not real or fake, or like it's being co-opted to like push an agenda. But like, I mean, it's just like, for me personally, it is just what I am.
I'd say the same, just identity in general and political like ideology, like while they do converge in some moments, and I think that they converge in very strange and important ways. I think that like I mean, obviously gender and gender identity can inform like political ideology and all that, but I definitely think it's more of an identity than anything political, which I mean, obviously like the far right uses it in like a political way with like all sorts of certain things, but it's just, just the way that they use it is very gross and I don't like it at all. There's obviously like all of the like stuff with it happening in Texas against like with like basically banning healthcare for trans people and just kind of basically like defining trans people out of existence in a lot of places. And so I think just like the idea of like people pretending that we're not here is very hard because like, and they like to pretend that like this is a very new thing. I feel like a lot of times they're like, oh, like this has only happened in the last like 15-20 years, and it's like, no, we've been around for as long as like we have recorded history. It's just like the world is more accepting now, so we're more able to be open about our identity. So
and when you were talking about like political versus non-political identity, I do want to go back and say like it can be a political identity, especially in like the climate that we exist in now, because sometimes it has to be a political identity. But I think that first and foremost, it is just like a gender identity. It's a way of like explaining and defining one's gender. It is a gender identity first, and then whatever political ideology second. That's at least how I see it.